I never thought that I would encounter such a typical betrayal. A sailor on the high seas, an abandoned wife. But maybe it's for the best. At least I found out about it before I spent years with the wrong person. We had been together for about a year, and honestly, things were great. We spent most of our free time together, and when New Year's came around, I asked her to move in. Right after the holidays, I was set to leave on a 3-month deployment, and I wanted to take our relationship to the next level. So she'd wait for me and welcome me home when I returned. I left at the end of February, but I did everything to stay connected. Honestly, it felt like we were online 24/7. If anything, she was even more eager, calling, texting good morning every day, checking in at night with how was your day. Everything seemed perfect. I didn't have the slightest suspicion. I did check in with a mutual friend a couple of times, though. He worked with her, which is how we had met in the first place. I casually asked if anyone had been hitting on Emily while I was away. He hadn't noticed anything off, but assured me that if something came up, he'd let me know right away. I really hoped I wouldn't get a call from him. But during our last few conversations, I could tell something had changed. Her enthusiasm wasn't the same. I never liked the idea of her going to nightclubs and bars without me, but I also knew it was selfish to expect her to just sit at home for months, only going to work and back. At least I took comfort in knowing she was always surrounded by mutual friends, people I trusted to keep an eye on her. With only a week and a half left before I came home, I was practically losing my mind. I couldn't wait to be back. The plan was simple. I'd land, go home to an empty apartment, catch up with family and friends, and then she'd be there waiting for me. That's how it always was. The guys on board would talk about how their wives spent weeks preparing, gym, nails, hair, new lingerie, the whole works. And then, out of the blue, Emily started calling and texting non-stop, asking what I liked, what to cook for my homecoming, if my friends would be coming over, or if we'd have the place to ourselves. That actually made me feel better. Just a couple more days, and I'd be home. What could possibly go wrong at that point? Then my phone rang. It was our mutual friend. I could hear it in his voice. He didn't want to tell me. Who would? No one wants to be the bearer of bad news. But he did. Last weekend, our group of friends went downtown for City Day. Huge crowds, concerts, drinks everywhere. Emily was there too. At some point, she slipped away, and no one could find her. Then she came back, but not alone. She had bumped into some old friend and decided to hang out with his group for a bit. Said they hadn't seen each other in ages and had a lot to catch up on. No big deal, right? After that, she told everyone she was heading straight home, said she was tired. A couple of hours later, when the concert ended and everyone started heading home, someone casually mentioned that she had left with that guy. Some laughed it off, but her younger sister and her boyfriend weren't convinced. No way, that's impossible, they said. They've known each other forever. She's definitely home alone. I'll call her right now, they said, and dialed. Emily picked up. Yeah, I'm home. I have a headache. I'm already in bed. But my friend wasn't buying it. He turned to the most sober people in the group and said, "Why are we even guessing? Let's just go to Samantha's place and see for ourselves." They were half joking, but they went to my place anyway. On the way, they picked up some booze, and one of them hung back at the entrance to have a smoke. The rest rang the intercom, got buzzed in, and headed upstairs. She was already waiting at the door, smiling, waving everyone in, rushing to shut it behind them. But her sister was the first to step inside. She took one look around and loudly announced, "See, there's no one here." You guys were imagining things. According to my friend, everyone started laughing, but he noticed something. Samantha's laugh was different, a little too nervous. Before she could close the door all the way, he slipped back out into the stairwell. He remembered that no one had come down while they were going up. Something felt off. So he decided to check. He walked up a couple more flights. And then, bam! He nearly ran straight into the guy from the concert. The dude was frozen in place, clutching his clothes in his hands, scared out of his mind. My friend didn't lay a hand on him. He just looked him dead in the eye and said, "Well, now you know whose house you're in." Emily begged him not to tell anyone, especially not me. But keeping quiet? That wasn't happening. The whole thing kept replaying in my head. If she was cheating, why the hell was she calling me so much? Why was she acting all excited, asking about my favorite food, planning a welcome home party? And then, that same night, my phone rang again. "Hey babe, when are you coming home? I made something special for you." I didn't even have to dig for the truth anymore. It had landed right in my lap. "Oh yeah? You cooked something. Did you pack your bags too?" She giggled. "Pack my bags? What? Are we going on a trip?" "No, honey, You're leaving. My house. My life." She moved her stuff out. But when I got home, guess who was standing outside? Him. He didn't say a word. Just stood there silent. Not that it mattered. There was nothing he could say that would make it better. The only thing I had left to say to her was, "I hope I never meet anyone like you again."